call it to order. Yeah, we could have. Of course, I have to pull up my cheat sheet because I don't know what the first thing is. Okay, who does the roll call? Okay, here.
Gary Gary?
Yes.
Tom Caffrey?
Yes, present.
Okay. Helen Humphrey, she's not here yet. William Bitford, not
Nope.
present yet. Vernon is not present, and Timothy is excused. for
Excused,
today.
yes.
Okay.
So we don't have a quorum, but we can proceed.
Okay, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And, all right, can I have a motion to approve the minutes? Oh, we don't have a quorum, we can't even do that. All right, so those will be moved on to the next deal, right? Yeah. But we probably need one or two to arrive. Okay, don't worry about it. We'll see what, you look that up while we're waiting. And, so, next is redevelopment staff reports. Angela, thank you.
Good evening, board members. Angela Armstrong, project manager for the Main Street and South Atlantic CRA. Tonight, I just wanted to give you an update on some of the projects that we're working on. The first one is the boardwalk extension to Harvey Avenue. The city, the county, and our consultants, we are working. We have been discussing some things with Senior Frogs because it is in conjunction. You know, we're going to stand the boardwalk and they are going to build the restaurant. Not at the same time, but it needs to tie in. Then our consultant anticipates getting survey and geotechnical data back at the end of this month. The county has also hired our consultant to design the new Harvey Street approach. So, you know, it makes sense, the three projects together. We don't have a timeline for the beach approach from Volusia County, but we know that we are working together, so it will be cohesive. The county has now authorized design services. After the geotechnical and survey data comes in, at the end of the month, the consultant will start working with the designs and permitting for the project. The timeline is at least 2 years for construction, and we have a budget of $1.9 million already allocated in the Main Street CRA for this project. I can take questions by project or...
Well, I was just like 2 years, is that for all three, you know, the extension and the beach approach and Senior Frogs?
No, it's just for the boardwalk.
Like the extension, okay. And then maybe the Senior Frogs would be after that?
After
You're
or
not really sure.
before?
Okay, you don't know?
I don't have an answer for that.
Okay, thanks.
The extension, it's gonna be on the property or on the beach side?
The boardwalk? The boardwalk is going to be extended from Breakers Park, you know,
Yeah.
it's ended there.
Yeah,
And it's going to be all the way to Harvey.
but actually on the property or,
No, it's the
behind the seawall.
Yes,
Behind
yes.
the
It's the
seawall.
continuation of the boardwalk that we already have.
on private property, you could say.
It's our property.
Oh,
It's all the city property, correct?
Yes.
Oh,
So,
Mm-hmm.
with that, to kind of follow up on that, looking at the diagram here, the Harvey, not the Harvey, but the boardwalk, will that extension, because looking at how it looks here, it looks like it comes off the back of the building. Does that extra footing that comes behind the building down to the boardwalk, that's down actually to the boardwalk, or is that down to the beach?
No, it's to the boardwalk.
So it'll be above the boardwalk, and you'll go
And they
down.
have access to the boardwalk.
Okay, And the 1.9 that we're giving them, what is that towards, or the budget, is that for the improvements of the boardwalk only?
For
and
the
then-
extension.
Okay,
only.
so that doesn't have anything to do with Senior Frogs?
Not at all.
Okay.
This is all boardwalk extension.
Okay.
Could we show these on the video? Is that available to put up there?
I don't have it on.
No? Okay, I just wondered, because we're discussing like what it looks like and I don't know if.
I'm
It's all
not.
right. I
I'm
just
not.
didn't know if we could have it up there while we were talking.
No,
about it.
because this is not a presentation of a site plan
Gotcha.
at all.
Okay,
This is just information for you to have.
okay.
She's saying that for the people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I was thinking for the video too, but that's okay. It's nice when we're discussing it for people to say, know what he's talking about.
One additional thing, one of the questions that I would have is the elevation from the step down from the actual restaurant to the boardwalk, what that kind of looks like. And the only reason I ask that is if we build the height of the land up high enough where Senior Frogs is going to be across, you could potentially, if we're trying to revitalize the boardwalk, you could potentially have first floor retail rental units that would be along that boardwalk. If we're just doing a boardwalk and we're doing that, well and good, but if we're trying to get people attracted to that area, if you build it up high enough, you're going to create a 10-foot drop from Senior Frogs down, very similar to like what Dino has, King Pizzas have, and all that. And you're going to build above them, and then the stuff's below there. So you're going to create a dual purpose thing, kind of like a first floor retail, second floor restaurant, so to speak. Is that not?
But that's not feasible at this time
Okay.
because we've already leased the property to Senior Frogs. They have already started the designing based on.
I know we can't do it there, but is the entire Senior Frogs property all the new boardwalk? So are we just
No, it's
right?
the city just purchased additional property.
The extra half acre for, yeah. So that's kind of the question that I have. Would we be able to do that leading up to it to create, because the issue we have in that area is, I'll use the Hilton as a perfect example. When the Hilton lease originally during Adams Mark was signed, they weren't allowed to have any first floor hotel rooms in order to vacate Ocean Avenue. So it wasn't for anything for beach driving or any other stuff. But now their entire first floor boardwalk facing is all suites. And that, according to the contract they had with the county, which is a different deal, doesn't pertain. But maybe we could carve out that area that we're going to build and think about that as a future project, so we have the ability to do that for any other projects that may happen just west of the boardwalk that we're creating. That's all.
Okay. Well, right now, we're not even have designs or anything, so it's very difficult for me to
Understand.
There's no intentions right now of anything going forward.
Because
to
we
the
are
north.
we are just
Yeah.
in the process of design. Not
Will
even
additional
in the-
parking be there, or will it be additional parkscape type
Where?
north of Senior Frogs?
No parking.
No parking.
I don't.
So just
we don't
additional
have
park
this-
for now. Open space.
Well, when it comes the time, we are going to get an RFP out for a hotel.
Oh, okay.
That's the intention.
I got it.
Yeah, we're going to activate that space. We're not
Yeah.
going to put parking there because it's prime property,
Yeah.
and
I
there's
mean, not
no
even
way.
temporarily.
Well, that's something that we can discuss
Yeah.
later with the city manager. If that's something that Senior Frogs needs, if
Yeah.
we see the need, we can provide parking temporarily.
Yeah.
But the ultimate goal for that property is not parking or park. Public park, no.
Yeah. Because parking it's always an issue.
It is, and we understand that,
Yeah.
but it's prime real estate.
Sure. Oh, I agree. I mean, it's only temporary.
Yeah. So moving forward with Senior Frogs, I know we already started talking about Senior Frogs, but they submitted their site plan back in September 2023. They submitted for an extension a couple of weeks ago because they're having some issues with Volusia County. They have their egress and egress for the parking of Harvey. And Volusia County is not willing to do that, so they have to reconfigure everything. That is the elevation. You have copy of the elevation. The only thing is that they need to reconfigure parking, egress, and egress. And this is just for your information. You know, this is a minor site plan.
Yeah.
This doesn't come to this redevelopment board. It is done administratively.
So there is no option for anything on that approach?
For
that
them
parking?
to egress, no, not at all. They're still working.
Enter or exit?
No. They're working with Volusia County. Hopefully they.
I don't know why it's a big deal.
Yeah, I wonder why. I mean, anybody think of a logical reason why you can't drive?
Because it's Daytona.
No, the way I see it is ingress, egress there. It isn't active beach approach. I mean, hopefully it becomes more active.
Yeah.
And when you have that, I just, in my opinion, if they ever did decide to reopen the thing again, it would be a mess. And so that could be why Volusia County is looking at it, because they have that 7-0 vote currently to re-talk about opening that section of the beach.
So maybe
Maybe
after
later- at a
that,
later
they
date,
might be
yeah.
more willing. Oh, interesting. I don't know that would, I mean, I can't imagine that interfering too much, but whatever. People move along, you know. Okay.
The next item is one of our priority is the Main Street Pier. The process for this project will be, staff needs to decide the final configuration and the length of the pier. We need to engage a design and permitting engineering so they can, let us know what we can do, how it would look like. We need to identify all the potential source of funding because the CRA is not able to do it by ourselves. We are talking among staff, public works, and utility, and all of them. We are talking about a project between $25 and $30 million. There was a report done, a feasibility report done, I believe it was 2023, and they submitted 3 options, like repair the same pier that we have, construct a new one with the same material that we have, or construct a new one with concrete. And we are, if you ask me, we are looking for the concrete pier next to the one that we have. There's the option to extend the length of the pier so we can have fishing options and but that's only, we are in discussion because we need to.
When you say concrete next to,
Yes.
why
We
would
cannot
you
use,
keep any of the existing to begin with anyway?
because it is we are doing a lot of repairs right now to the pier.
Yeah.
It's like $1 million a year just for the repairs. So you keep repairing.
No, but I mean,
It might have to do with the current lease that we have, that you would need to keep the pier until the new pier is built, and then we would probably, I don't know the term of the lease and how all of that would work, but I'm sure that's some of the reason for keeping the existing pier, at least until the new pier is built.
That's how it will be. We need to keep it, construct, and then we demolish the structure. And of course, in our plan, Joe's is still in place. So
well, they're not going anywhere.
that's why.
It's
That's why
one of the
we need
busiest
to.
ones in their whole chain. So they're there. And
Yeah.
I'm sure reasonably to speak to them, the pier is not a make or break for them. People come to the restaurant to eat, there's not much of a pier that's left. They've restricted the fishing there, which is ridiculous because that pier belongs to the people of Daytona, not the Joe's Crab Shack. That was a very bad deal that they made with the original franchise owner, Joe's. No other city would probably make that deal, you know, just giving up control of their pier and letting the restaurant dictate what happens to it. So if it was private enterprise, they would get rid of the wooden part, you know, up that's abutting the east side of the restaurant, because the restaurant has to stay, from what I understand. You know, we spoke in depth with different people, and they were saying that the restaurant part has to stay, because you wouldn't be able to rebuild that again. And then just go from the end of the restaurant part, all new concrete. I wouldn't even keep any of that. You would never see that in private enterprise. It just doesn't make any sense. So I'm sure if you spoke to Joe's Crab Shack, they would probably be very open, you know, to sacrificing 6 months, 8 months to have a brand new pier after that, because it's going to be beautiful when it's done.
Yes.
Up to the restaurant.
Up to the restaurant, yeah. And then they were talking about going concrete around the restaurant.
So this is the first time that we discuss in a public meeting. We are just gathering information. We need to present it to the commissioners. They are the ones who approve those projects.
I like Gary's idea.
I mean, it's
yeah.
it's a logical approach, and
Yeah.
private enterprise would do it that way.
Yeah, it
That
seems-
makes more sense than
seems
anything
like
else. To
common-
build a new one right next to the other one, you know, there was other talks of building another pier at Harvey. Why would you put another one there? You only need one pier. Make it wider, put some amusements on the pier, and make something that people can be proud of, because things that we can be proud of in Daytona are far and few between. You know,
It's a
from my
land,
travels recently, we got a lot of work to do.
and it's a landmark.
It is.
It's a landmark, and we need
It
to
is.
foster it. One of the things, were you? Not a big deal, but every time I walk on the beach, I see the blank side of the walkway right over the beach, where, you know, people walk and drive underneath. And it's always seemed to me that we need some kind of art on it. And I think I'd brought it up before about like leasing the space for advertising, and the issue was, well, then you never know what people are going to put on it. But if you had, say you had sponsored murals, like, you know, Morgan and Morgan pays $10,000 this month, and they, you know, to sponsor this particular mural, and you had an artist do something on there, and then, you know, they could either continue, or maybe there's a small area on a large, like maybe break it into 4 or 5 sections and have an area that someone could sponsor, but just an idea for a revenue stream from it, because it just having it blank white to me is kind of,
It needs something.
it needs something.
Desperately.
Yeah, you know, and if we go and we just paint, you know, tropical whatever on it,
You could get famous artists to do artwork on
Yeah.
it. They would gladly do something like that.
I think so. So and I would love to see that, if that's you know, possibly something to work in.
Okay.
Just my 2 cents.
I've emailed about that before, and the fact is it used to be normal. Like that was a normal thing in Daytona Beach. That entire pier from front to the back used to have on both sides of it, all the way around the casino, the entire thing used to be littered with all of the local businesses advertising up and down that pier. And the businesses were responsible for maintaining all of that, making sure that the wood was replaced, all of those things were replaced, and they had to pay money to do it. So it's a pretty normal thing for, at least locally. I don't know what it's like in other communities, but yeah, I don't disagree. I think there should be something done there, but you go to any old photo pre-2005, the thing was covered in artwork, Coca-Cola, local businesses, bicycle repair shop, whatever it was. It always had an arrow pointed towards Main Street, pointed towards Ocean Avenue, this way 2 miles or this way half a mile. That was a normal thing. So yeah, I love the idea. I think there should be a way. I contacted Parks and Rec about 6 months ago or 8 months ago, because I wanted to do it for my brewery again. And so I think that it would absolutely be something that especially local businesses would want to do on there. You know, Joe's Crab Shack was hanging a 100th anniversary banner across the pier, you know, not that long ago. I get it that they can do that, but why can't the other businesses do it? So yeah, I mean, and murals is a great idea too. Why not make it attractive as well as advertising?
I've seen in other cities where they put their calendar of significant special events. That's a great advertisement there.
I'll take it. And well, the other item is an update on the Main Street Coquina Arc. The current schedule is anticipated completion of the project by the end of this month. And that includes Volusia County coming in and putting an automated gate for access to the beach. Based on the comment that Mr. Caffrey made at our last meeting, that it would be nice to have a ribbon cutting, we met with Communication and Parks and Recs, and we are having a ribbon cutting
Excellent.
ceremony for the project. Parks and Recs, based on the mayor's schedule, they selected October 10th at 9 a.m. So I hope to see you all there. We are going to have some breakfast stuff and.
I thought it was third.
Did you say breakfast?
I thought it was
October 10th.
10th?
It was 3rd or 10th,
third.
Jessica?
I think it's the third.
3rd.
Third.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, Jessica.
Rewind,
I'm
delete
like-
the rewind, try again.
Oops,
Start that
October 3rd
October 3rd.
at 9. And we really believe that we should celebrate that project because I don't know if you're aware, the CRA contributes $682,000 for that project. So we will be there for the pictures.
It looks good too, I was down there.
Yes, it looks really nice. Also, it's not on the agenda, but I provide you with a report, 5 years grant expenditure report. Our city manager requests this report, and we thought that it was going to be, it is a good idea you have that report as well. So you can see where we're coming from. Since 2020, all the way here, how much we have spent, where the businesses that are taking advantage of. South Atlantic is still a little bit behind, but we are working on some outreach programs so businesses can, and residents, because we have a lot of residents on South Atlantic CRA, that they can take advantage of our grants. And the other item is that it was mentioned before, we acquired the property right next to the Breakers Park. So we are the proud owner of that vacant lot. So we own from Breakers Park all the way to Harvey. And that concludes my reports.
Let me ask, I think I've asked this question before, but if people are watching or if they want to reference, the grants, you have a commercial grant, you have residential facade grant, and then a certain amount per year. And does that amount roll over to the next, like if it's not used in 1 year, is it rolled over to the next year, or it's just?
No, but we budget every year for grants.
Right,
And we have the commercial grant that is a 0% interest loan program, forgivable after 2 years. The CRA covers 80%, the applicant 20%, and up to 50,000. Then we have the small project grants that is for existing business up to 15,000, new business up to 20,000. This is for interior and exterior improvement. That one is a reimbursement. The applicant needs to do all the improvement, pay for everything, and the CRA will pay 50% up to the maximum amount. We have landscape grant as well. That one is just for, irrigation system. If you need to do pavers, we can accept pavers. That one is up to 15,000 in a reimbursement form, and that one is payable in 3 consecutive years. So whatever the amount is, we will, pay it in yearly. We also have the lease subsidy grant That is, if you are a business owner and you are behind on your rent, the CRA will help you with $1,500 a month for 3 months. Residential facade grant, that is up to $5,000, just facade improvement. We are not doing any interior as we do with the commercial. And we have the historic preservation grant. That one is up to $75,000 for businesses and up to $15,000 for residential. But you have to be in the historic, local historic area. And local, we only have South Beach Street in the CRA, South Beach Street, and a portion of South Peninsula.
I have a question about the historic district. So when I applied for my sign, to add my sign to my building at World's Most Famous Brewery, I had to get approvals from redevelopment, from normal permits, and I had to get a historical permit in order to put my sign up through the. And so I was just wondering why I would have to apply to get the historic department to okay my sign if we're not in a historical area.
Well, because we have local and we have national. So maybe I need to find out, I need to search, and we have a map. If your store is in the national historic designation, well, then I need to find out what's going on there.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't know. I don't know what's going on, so I will have to search.
But back to my question was, if you budget a certain amount in the year, like say you budget $250,000 for grants, I'm not saying that's the amount, and then
That is exactly
you don't have enough applicants to use that up in the period in a year, does the extra amount that is not used, does it roll over, or do you start over again? It's
I
just a
start over again.
You start over.
The
okay.
money is not lost because with CRA we don't lost
Right.
money, but it goes to a projects account.
Okay.
And then we budget it every year
Okay.
in a different amount. If that
And I
makes
think I
sense.
knew that. I just wanted to make it clear for anybody listening or learning about the grant program, because there's lots of grants apparently, and it'd be nice
Yes.
if people really availed themselves of those, especially homeowners. I don't know that they, if you're reaching, you said you were going to reach out to businesses
We
and
are.
things, but
Businesses and residential
okay,
homeowners, so,
great, thank you.
okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, public comments. I have one. John Nicholson, if you would like to come up and engage.
John Nicholson, 413 North Grandview. With regard to the diagram, I really wished it would have been the north, south, east, and west, because I had no clue, since there were 4 approaches to the beach, right? All of them are illegal, because it's the county beach, and they will not allow you to put that. Plus, if we're putting in a extension of the boardwalk, that's not on any of the diagrams. So it's kind of awkward to kind of figure out what it is. So I hope that the boardwalk literally comes to their front door, just like it does the businesses on the boardwalk now. A couple of things. One, what you just spoke about was the National and Historic Districts. That goes back about 25 years ago. Gary Libby, Tracy Rebark, they wanted Daytona Beach, several, we have like 5 National Historic Districts. They wanted them to be local, and the argument was they did not want Main Street to be a local, because then you can't do anything with the buildings. So her area in Seabreeze is both national and local. Midtown is national and local. But on the Beachside, they did not want it to go past Oak Ridge. So that's why you're national but not local. She
So
didn't
is
want
Surfside's national, but not local, but I don't
Correct.
think Main
I'm,
Street is.
I'm just talking about a sign had to go through the historic department of our local city.
to. Correct.
Yeah,
Right.
which is-
But that's the reason why
Same like-
it's not local, why it's national sign. All right. Secondly, at one point, Jim Chisholm turned down $12 million for a new pier. The county wanted to extend the boardwalk from our boardwalk to ISB. They put aside $12 million. Deneen was kind of ousted from county manager, and the project kind of died, all right? So the county had that 12 million there, talked to Kelly, and he said, sure, come up with a plan. So I came to Jim, and Jim said no. So we had an opportunity to build a second pier 9 years ago, all right? So the money is still there, and you can apply for a super grant for ECHO. I think it's $6 million, which we would absolutely get. They had $21 million they were trying to get rid of. So now they're going to 2 giveaways a year to hopefully get more and more, because they're getting so much money in, there are not enough requests. So we definitely need to do that. Secondly, we definitely want both. Gary doesn't like the idea, but we definitely, because we've got a lease for property just to the south of the pier. We've had that lease for several years now. So the property on the beach, just south of the pier, we own the beach outright. Most of the beach is Florida Beach.
Right.
We, the city of Daytona Beach, own the land in front of the Breakers Park. All right? So we can literally build that because we have a lease from Breakers Park out to 250 feet or whatever. So we definitely, it's not Harvey, it's Breakers Park that we have, and we have a 75-year lease left on it. The 99-year lease is now 75. All right? So we really should do that. That's where the rides were originally scheduled to go on, all right? Before we screwed it up and put the rides on A1A. We also should keep the second pier. There's a way of rotating it around. We really don't want cars driving out on that pier. It doesn't make any sense to us, all right? So we really should have something at the very end to draw people out to the far end. Some kind of porpoises or manta rays or something to draw them out to the far end and use that pier. So those are things in the thing. We can protect that pier and not do the $1 million a year if we put a reef at the far end. That was something Jim finally agreed on, because what happens is if you put a reef out there, all those waves, those heavy breakers, stop at the reef. They don't do damage to the pier, but since we don't have that reef out there, we continue to get the damage. All one needs to do is put the reef blocks all that force of water from doing the damage. So we absolutely need the reef out there. The blank sides, I don't know if we want to go back in history and do every inch of it, the old-fashioned, ditzy, whatever you see in old photographs, you go into any store, there must be 1 million things for sale hung up all over the wall. We don't do that anymore. So I don't know if you want to go retroactive. Signage, yes, okay? Advertising for businesses on the boardwalk or on Main Street, absolutely. But to have every inch of it, I'm not quite sure we want to really go that route. Where are we at the kiosks? I know it's been 11, 12 years since we started the kiosk. We're still working on it, but I'd like to know where we are at kiosks. The arch, it was historic. It's no longer historic since we tore it down and rebuilt it, and it doesn't look anything like the historic arch. Remember, the historic arch had 4 towers at each end? The new one has, instead of a flat wall, has a step up. So it's totally different. Also, why didn't we do a light underneath it? There was supposed to be a light 15 years ago when they redid the base, and they did not put one underneath it. We really need a light underneath that arch, like we have at the band shell, which we don't use. We really, because visuals are important, we want to have eyes drawn to that arch, and a colorful underneath the arch would draw their eyes to that. Like the band shell. If the band shell was in green for Christmas and red for Valentine's Day, orange for Bike Week, it would visually, on the boardwalk, draw your eyes to the band shell. RFP for breakers. It's been years and years and years. We've had that property for a long time, all right? Now that we drove away the 2 hotels and we own it all, I was told that Senior Frog was going to go in until we could get a hotel. Well, there are people looking all up and down the beach now for hotels. There are like 5 being presented. There's one up at Bel Air Plaza. There's one in front of Steve's. There's one at Silver Beach. There's one at the 5-Star. So there are hotels coming and going. So the Froggies, I don't know how we should look at that. But anyway, where are we at the kiosk? Thank you.
I'll ask. Thanks. All right. Board comments. Oh, how about the unboring comment? Oh, we have another public speaker. Sorry. Jenny, come on up.
Good evening, Jenny Nazak, 501 Harvey. It was good to hear the update regarding Senior Frogs and Boardwalk at all. I had started thinking maybe Senior Frogs had given up because it seemed like a lot of time had passed. So it's nice that that's going in and the Boardwalk extension and all that. What else? Regarding parking, I think it's really, Daytona Beach is much more than just a party town, but people do come here to kick back and relax. And I think it's not a bad idea to normalize the idea of walking, taking Uber, walking along the nice, beautiful boardwalk extension, and maybe not needing as much parking. Maybe we'll get this shuttle that some of us keep pushing for, so that would be a nice thing. And then in regard to Main Street, at the most recent commission meeting, Commissioner Strickland was talking about the kind of the big brewery that's talking about occupying the 777, the Corbin building, and saying that the guy wants more parking. So I suggested to Commissioner Strickland that he tell the gentleman, well, there's all these hotels around that have thousands of captive walker Uber people, so you may not need as much parking. I would love to not chew up more of Main Street with just big parking lots and things. I would like to share, normalize Uber, walking. Actually, when I first moved here, I had a side job as a pedicab driver. My knees won't let me anymore, but that was a cool job, and a lot of people took the pedicab rides along the boardwalk. So that's another fun. It was like a fun, novelty, old-timey beach thing. And then speaking of fun, novelty, old-timey, I also seem to remember that at the Crab Shack Pier and also along the boardwalk, there did seem to be more other businesses. Like at that Crab Shack, there used to also be a little candy store and like a French fry.
There's a French fry place.
And I mean,
Required to do that.
those things every little one of those things, it adds something fun. It's one more thing that the kids can enjoy, or the grown-ups, like French fries. But just the more little activities like that, it is really good. Let's see what else. I think that's it. Just I do want to pay tribute. It's very sad, but the Tir na Nog Irish pub on East ISB has been a great hub of comedy, independent music, community of young people, creatives, and it is shutting its doors. The building has been condemned. I think there's just been back and forth and just this and that, but we wish the proprietors well in their future endeavors, but also it was a really nice place, and I want to just pay tribute to the Tir na Nog. Thank you all.
Thanks, Jenny. All right. Who wants to start?
Airing of grievances, right? We're almost there, I think. So there are a lot of projects. Somebody mentioned that there are projects coming on. The major projects that are happening, and all of the ones that are actually being developed and built on right now, are all on the Drive Beach. None of those projects that are actually happening are on No Drive Beach. Every single project that is a good project, that's millions of dollars being spent, is not asking for city money. They're not asking for county money. They're not asking to close the beach. They're not asking to do a single thing. And they're building, they're renovating, they're improving, they're making things better. We have, for 25 years as a city, hoped and given and allowed any sort of discount to move to our area and start your business here. And personally, I've not seen anybody that's been successful doing that. So I'm excited about all the growth that's happening on Beachside, but my point to that is there's not a single development in the mile stretch that has no beach driving that is new other than the Proto Group Tower. Not a single one. And so that's a big thing. And then the French fries thing, I loved that. That was awesome. When they had that open, they haven't used that thing in 7 years, 6 years. That thing hasn't been open. It should be open all the time. It would crush, but the management says it's too much work. So they don't do it. Parking, you go to any other major city that is on the beach, they don't have any parking. Their parking sucks. It is what it is. St. Augustine, I think I've said this before, has an entire parking garage for the entire city of St. Augustine. We have 3 parking garages that you can't get 50% full within less than a mile. So I get it. During bike week, I can get to parking on the street during bike week from my house in Ormond Beach in 17 minutes. So I'm right on Clyde Morris on the border of Daytona in Ormond. I can get from my doorstep to parking near my brewery in 17 minutes. So my point is that's during bike week, which is supposed to be our busiest time of the year, and I can park every single time, and I don't have parking. I just park just like everybody else, and I'm literally parked in 17 minutes. So I disagree. I'm always going to disagree on parking because we have more parking than we've ever had in my entire 40 years in this area. So I disagree, and I know I'll take flack for that, but we also aren't a party community anymore. I haven't had a busy spring break since I've been open, and I've been open 8 years. I haven't seen Cruisin' busy for spring break in 8 years. I haven't seen Seabreeze busy for spring break in 8 years. I've seen other things happen, but we do not have a party attitude any longer in this community. We've gotten rid of that. Whether it's for good or bad, I don't feel like that is there any longer. Now, whatever we decide we want to do as a community and for redevelopment on our beach side, I don't believe that there's anybody that still comes here thinking that we're the party any longer. I love your report, Angela, on the Main Street Arch and all of the other things that are going on. We do have some really amazing things that are happening in our area. I hope Senior Frogs gets happening, and this is great. All of this stuff always comes from a good spot. I really care about this city greatly, and I want things to be better. I just see things like Tir na Nog coming down, which again, it's a historic building. I see many buildings on that street that are in just as bad or not worse shape than Tir na Nog, and so it just breaks my heart that a thriving art form place is coming down. And I know there's been some back and forth between the owners and the city, but it really is disappointing that doesn't exist or will not exist on International Speedway any longer, because when I grew up in town, International Speedway had buildings from the river to the ocean. It was just lined with buildings, and it was a hub of just positive stuff going on. So if we can get that back again, that would be amazing. If that can happen again, that would be wonderful. I think that's what we're trying to do here as a redevelopment group, and I think everybody here on the board and the city and all of the people that attend these things really want that to happen. So again, none of it's from a bad place. I just get passionate about this stuff. I'm a little bit bad mood too, because just watch stupid videos on Facebook with what happened with that poor gal. And I had to mention it, and then this other young man who I've never seen before. I guess his name was Mr. Kirk or Charlie Kirk. I don't even know anything about him, but it's just so terrible. And we have such a great community here, and I'm so thankful that we have this locally, because I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I don't. I've lived between Daytona and Ormond for 41 years, so I love this community. That's it.
Okay, Gary?
We do have some positive things happening, that's for sure. Senior Frogs is exciting. It happens to be right behind my business, actually, so I've been waiting for that for a while. Kind of surprised they didn't go with a rooftop patio. Everybody's doing rooftop patios now, but that's their prerogative. But they will. It's a necessary evil. They have 21 spaces. They will need probably 150 spaces if things are. Their employees will probably take 30 spaces. So that's definitely an unnecessary evil that you have to deal with. I know the dirt lot, the parking perspective, that dirt lot in front of the boardwalk, it's packed all the time. When it's busy and those spaces are necessary, it's packed. The parking lot that was on the beach where Senior Frogs is going, that place was packed. Sometimes it's just got to be convenient to the neighborhood that the people want to go in. So some people don't want to walk 3-4 blocks on a hot day with their kids to get from, one area of entertainment to the others. So, but being that we're inviting businesses to come to Daytona, to help us go to the next level, again, I need to stress lighting, maintenance of the roads, maintenance of the landscaping, inviting, make it clean. When people come here, they should have a positive impression of Daytona, and they don't have the best impression sometimes. We could do a better job, actually. So that being said, hopefully, actually really excited about the pier. I think the pier single-handedly will help Daytona catapult itself a couple more rungs up the ladder to where we should be, because we used to be one of the best tourist destinations on the East Coast of America. Now people see how much competition there is, and they're spending money and making the effort, to attract their lion's share of the tourism, and that's what we got to get back to. So let's keep up the good work.
The Crab Shack auxiliary parking lot is always dead empty. It is lit up just like blazes all night long, and it is always dead empty.
You need to
When
come
it-
to the microphone, please.
You're gonna, well,
That the Crab Shack auxiliary parking lot on Harvey that was meant to be for the employees.
Oh,
it's just
for,
it's for the Crab Shack employees.
yeah.
It is dead empty all the time, and it is lit up like really bright, like 24/7. Might as well use it.
Yeah.
And it's right there on Harvey, so
If we could, that'd be great.
that would be cool to be able, if you could do, one could do that, yeah.
So the city did a good job of designated, I don't know, like 6 or 8 spots to at least the businesses there. They just did that within the last, I don't know, 5 months, give or
okay.
take. So the ones that are directly on the north side, I think not the entire part of it, but the north side, they've given those spots at least to the businesses on Main Street. Because Farah at 35 Bistro really pushed very hard for that to happen, because I've brought up multiple times that they actually turn it into a rental parking lot during all of the major events for $25 to $45. Yeah, so they're also making money off of it.
Is that Joe's or the city?
No, it's Joe's.
Joe.
Really?
Yeah.
Congratulations
I
to
can't
them.
believe that one got under.
Ingenious.
It's right around the corner for me. How did I not see that? Somebody charging for that.
And
The-
most people
the
don't
city-
even know how the parking lot deal came about.
Right, yeah.
That's a whole nother story.
Well, there's two city lots that Joe's uses. There's the one right behind Main Street, right?
Yeah,
Between,
$880,000 for lots that were worth like $300,000.
yeah. So, all right. Well, I'm going to kick off on something that you were saying about parking for Senior Frogs. They, right across the street from me, you may remember, there's a large piece of property that has a PD on it now for a surface parking lot. And I've seen no activity there. I don't know, it's been a year and a half now that it's approved. I think they have 5 years to start it, so, but that, Ocean Deck uses the one right across the street from it, and they're, it's a little walk for people to get up there, but it gets plenty of traction. And I think Senior Frogs could also use,
Sure.
especially if they provided a little back and forth somebody, maybe a pedicab or something, they could use that if it ever gets off the ground. So, I like the fact that it's stayed just a green grass park all this time, but hopefully it'll be a nice
Sure.
accessory parking lot for people, and then, nobody should ever say we need parking again after that. Okay, a question that John brought up. I was looking at, on this diagram, is this the boardwalk? That's the boardwalk. So, yeah, their deck would be like this little white area, but the boardwalk is shown on this diagram, John. Just, yeah, on the, right, you have to kind of, that's a plot. Right. Then about the arch, the coquina arch, is there accent lighting on it or in it or under it included in the renovation? No?
That would be nice.
It would be nice, and I don't go down there at night, so I didn't know, but I wondered if there were
There, I don't know whether it's accent lighting or not, but there is actually at least safety lighting underneath it in those little alcoves.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the level of it is, but you can go there and you can see that there is some lights that are there. I don't know whether they're installed yet because that's part of the final push. They're doing all the fit and finish at the end, but there is the carve outs to have lights there, whether they're controllable or changeable or any of that. There will be lighting underneath it.
It'd be nice to have some lighting on it. Kiosks. Might as well answer the question about the kiosk.
I was waiting for that.
Okay.
So the kiosk project is on hold right now because we cannot install a kiosk when we are going to do a Main Street streetscape.
All right.
That kiosk is part of that project. So right now, once we get all set up with the design and the Main Street, which it is included on the design, then we will be able to see the kiosk. It will be a whole project.
Thank you. So it'll all come together. It'll all come
I don't
together.
think so.
Which
Too
for?
late now. I don't think it- yeah.
No.
True.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's not a quorum.
Hello.
Can we approve minutes and be done?
Hi, Helen. Water at work. Okay.
John Nicholson, there were a number of kiosks. There was one when you came out of the old Marriott, where the fountain is, right there. There was used to be one. When you came out of the Ocean Center, right there on A1A, there used to be one. There were two on the main street. All right. Well, one is there. I don't know about the second one.
No, the second one's
Been removed. So you've got one of the four remaining. So can't we
Okay.
put back the ones and add more?
And my last comment was about, I know, the CRA budget was approved at the last meeting and at the last.
The first reading. The second reading.
Oh, okay, it wasn't approved yet. Regarding that, so my code enforcement officer, the one that services the area that I live in, has the entire Beachside. We have one, unless it's changed in the last couple months when I talked to him. So the entire Beachside of Daytona Beach has one code enforcement officer, and part of my, I want to say my curse is that I drive around and I think I want blinders, but really I need blindfold because I see things and I think, oh, that could be fixed. Oh, that could be fixed. Oh, there's an idea for that one. It's it's too much. So, and those of you who've been listening to me for a while know that. I try to kind of pick what can be done rather than just complain about everything. But I feel like that is not enough to have one code enforcement. And I don't want somebody going around and picking on people for little stuff, but I think there are enough worst, do the worst first kind of thing. That's what I always say. There's enough stuff that I see that just never seems to make it into the pipeline, whether it's vacant lots that are just really like piled up with trash or furniture or everything from, and sometimes it's broken curbs or sidewalks, and whether that's code enforcement or public works. I mean, I feel like it would really benefit if it's a redevelopment area, and I know that has a lot to do with business, and everybody up here is a business owner, except I'm primarily just an observant resident. So I look around and I think, what do people see when they come here? How does it look? So, that may not be as important as having big businesses open up on Main Street, but it goes hand in hand, right? And we're in board comments, so you're just in time. So after I speak, you can have the whole.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
no. I just wanted to say that quite a while back, we all got cameras. We went out and took pictures of and there were
yeah.
several things that would make it look good.
Right.
And
But how does that get in the pipeline? Each one is a report, and then there's, it gets tracked, and at some point, I feel like some of them kind of drift off, or the owner is out of state or whatever.
Yes,
But
yes,
I guess what I'm getting to is, and I already probably know the answer, but it would be great to have a dedicated code enforcement officer for the redevelopment area for us, for the sake of saying this is where we're focusing our redevelopment, because that's kind of what this whole CRA thing is about. So either a code enforcement or redevelopment standards, or maybe somebody that really understands what we're trying to do in the redevelopment area and helping to notice those things. Because I think one code enforcement officer for the entire Beachside is not enough. And I'm just throwing that out. So.
Amy, have you had a conversation with Denzel Sykes?
I've had, not recently, but I've had lots of.
Yeah,
over the years.
I would recommend just sitting down with him, because just for an example, if you see something that is in code violation today, they have to give that person ample time to correct the problem before anything happens.
I'm fully aware of the whole
And
procedure
so-
from start to finish.
Well, these things don't turn around in 90 days. It could be 6 months before something happens.
I've been here 15 years.
You know,
and there's
so-
some stuff that it still hasn't gotten fixed. So I'm not trying to argue with you, Ken, but I've had those conversations with, and because in the beginning I thought it was just like magic. I would send it in and it would get fixed. And then I dealt with Captain Lee when he was here, and he really, he tried to get a lot of stuff done, and Denzel knows me well. We've had lots of conversations, but I feel like there's, each item has to have an officer that starts it and follows it through and goes to the magistrate meeting if it's necessary, or, sends the notices, and one person for every single code case on the Beachside, that's all I'm saying, does not seem to be enough. And that's just my 2 cents, take it for what it is, but maybe I'm just speaking it into the air. And so people know where I stand on it. But that's it for me. Do you want to, chat a minute since you just got here?
I didn't get killed by the bear.
Okay.
My birthday, I went to Montana, has nothing to do. Yes, I ran into a grizzly bear.
Were you in a vehicle?
No,
No?
I hiked 12 miles
Oh my
for my
God.
91st birthday.
Wait a minute. I thought you were Helen Humphreys. What are you doing? What are you doing out in the mountains?
No, my kids, and then they were going to go to a glacier, and it was very dangerous. I had to hold on to a cable drilled into a straight up mountain, and a 1,000-foot fall, which the next day someone fell over and died. But anyway,
Well, we're glad you're here.
yeah. Oh, but it was an awesome trip. It really was. But yeah, after I had hiked a long way, they said, that's going to be too hard for you. Go back. But they had the bear, and I saw a bear stand up, and then it disappeared. Didn't make me feel too good. And then it stood up on the other side, and a man came behind me at the same time and said, "Oh my gosh, it's a bear." And he gets his camera out. I'm shaking. I tried to get my camera. I couldn't. This huge grizzly bear stood up and then went over the side. And the man went back up the mountain and I had at least 3 or 4 miles still to go to get to the bottom. A ranger came along and he said, "Who are you with?" And I said, "Well, I was with my kids." "Where's your bear spray?" "It's with them." I said, I saw a big bear. He said, "It was probably a brown bear, but they're all dangerous. You shouldn't be here alone." I said, "Yeah, I saw a lot of bear poop all along." Yeah, it's interesting, but it's bear. And I showed him the picture and he went, "Oh," he said, "that was a grizzly. That was a very
Wow, you
big-"
get to, that was a bucket list item.
That
if
was
I
a
ever-
bucket list item. I got toasted when I got down the back. They played the piano. They brought me a wine. I don't drink wine, but I drank it. And,
for you.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive.
What was it, 13 miles?
12 miles,
Well-
one of them. I did several hikes.
For you.
Yeah.
12 more miles than I'll ever want to hike.
Do we have enough to do the minutes? We do. Okay, so we didn't vote on the minutes because we didn't have a quorum,
Oh,
but now
yeah.
we
Yeah.
can. So can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There you go. Got your minutes.
For the record, Ms. Humphries is here.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Bear free.
Yeah.
thanks. Okay, adjourn.